Girlfriend ruined my plan to propose by cheating with a psycho AP, so I decided to leave her life completely and now she desperately tries to get me back. Hi everyone, I decided to join Reddit after my almost 2-year-long relationship ended yesterday. It feels rough because I wasn't expecting it, not after all the work I put into being a better partner. My ex yo-yos between breaking up and then desperately telling me how much she loves me and wants us to work out yesterday. Just to give her some time because she's uncertain and needs to figure out how she has been failing our relationship. I won't claim to be perfect, I made my fair share of mistakes in the past. However, not only did I take ownership, but I moved heaven and earth to be better. So, at this point, I feel defeated and gutted as a person because at my best, I was told that it's not enough. I informed my ex that I will leave the door open for us, but I need time away to also work on myself. And to only contact me if she knows with certainty that I'm the guy she wants to be with. And then I left. But I feel so numb and zoned out. Like a zombie. There are moments when I break down, but right now, I feel completely numb and lost without any idea of how to handle or deal with this. I had planned to propose to her within the next few months. I had a date picked out too. I feel like my life has been turned upside down. Any advice on how to care for myself appropriately during this time? Thank you so much. Hey everyone, I'm interested in hearing some opinions. My partner of a few years and I broke up recently. We had plans of getting married and I was set to propose. Here's what happened. She had a guy friend who had a clear interest in her. I had asked her to distance herself from him when she came to me to say that she had been entertaining his text advances and felt guilty. I gave her a chance under this condition. We were in a long-distance relationship and would see each other once a month for about a week at a time. She went along with it until he wormed his way back. The unfortunate part is that he was not just friends with her, but her entire family. He knew of me and had been trying to set me up by using fake female profiles to see if I'd text back, so he could use this as ammunition to break us up. It never worked because I wouldn't engage. I only found this out post-breakup. She kept this from me. His family is very well off and so he would do all sorts of gifts and favors for her family and her. Fast forward a few months, he makes a move on her, kisses her, and she kisses back. It was a single kiss and thereafter she felt guilty and informed him that she loves me and made a mistake. He reveals that they've been in contact the whole time to me very shortly after. Not to do me a favor because he's just a trash bag. He hoped that by getting me out of the picture she'd be his. That's not what happened. She's been desperately trying to win me back, but the truth is that she didn't confess to me in those weeks since it happened, lied to me about continuing the friendship with him as well as made me feel like I was being insecure when I'd suspect she was still in communication with him. She absolutely made some questionable character choices. Since then, I've gotten as much information from her about stuff. I actually didn't know they had kissed, she confessed that part to me. Up until then, she says she had been towing the line and got carried away by the constant attention from him. My question is this, do I cut my losses, or do I give this person the opportunity to prove herself? I'm too emotionally invested to be objective about this, and I constantly battle between the two options since I ended the relationship. Apart from this, she had quite a bit of traits that I liked and was extremely proactive in the relationship for the most part. But she cheated in this way. And I'm having a hard time deciding whether this is someone who immaturely made a bad series of decisions, or if she lacks loyalty and integrity. Update: I'd like to thank everyone who replied. It gives me a lot to think about. I feel like I came on here desperately looking for some loophole to allow myself to give her another chance. But I thought about how much agony I'm in right now, and that should never be how one feels about love or a relationship. So, I've decided I'm going to stick with the breakup and take time away completely from her to heal and move on. Thanks again everyone. Update. It's been about 3 months or so since my relationship ended after catching my partner cheating on me. Safe to say, it was a crap show. I was traumatized by the way it happened and felt like most of my relationship was a lie. I've learned many valuable lessons that I hope might be helpful to someone else. Trust your gut always. Don't ignore red flags, especially when the people closest to you recognize these flags in your partner. Measure your partner's words against their actions. Don't make excuses for them in your own mind. If you're dating an unhappy person, don't make it your mission to make them happy. Don't try to fix someone else, and don't date someone who could potentially be what you want. They either are or they aren't. Don't fear loneliness. It's not nearly as painful as what you may experience from dating or marrying the wrong person for you. Stand up for yourself when you are being disrespected or gaslit. Don't ignore a partner's history of low integrity or poor moral decisions unless they have recognized their flaws and made an effort to resolve them. The most important lesson I learned is to prioritize my own happiness and well-being. There's nothing wrong with being selfish about the quality of people you allow into your life and the standard of relationships you are willing to entertain. I believe that life happens for you, not to you. And so, even though I still experience pain from what happened, it has actually propelled me towards facing my own inadequacies and demons. On a side note, since investing a lot of time into self-development over the last few months, I had to completely cut ties with my cheating ex. At one point, I considered reconciliation, but as time passed, I realized the magnitude of her cheating. She would have told hundreds, if not 1,000 lies to me over the last few months of our relationship while she betrayed me. I also suspected it and confronted her on many occasions, and I was met with gaslighting and manipulation. I'm not trying to discourage anyone who is trying to reconcile. I respect you and take motivation from you. But, after seeing the true person my ex is, flaws and all, I can't imagine a narrative where I would ever allow someone like that to have a place in my life, even with the love I have for the person I thought she was. The relief I feel from closing the chapter has been something I have desperately searched for. It's not easy, but it feels right for me. I hope to develop a deeper relationship with myself until I am truly happy and full of self-love. Perhaps then, I'll consider a new relationship. I hope this was helpful. If you're going through something like this, I send my well wishes to you. Update. Hey everyone, I feel kinda crappy for having to even post this, because I was in such a great headspace since cutting my ex off. However, this morning I woke up to a text from my ex that actually opened some of my wounds. Just for some context, we were together for 2 years and about to be married. I found out in a horrific way that she cheated on me with her neighbor, who she claimed was just a friend, and she had absolutely zero interest in. She didn't confess, I caught her. In fact, she told me hundreds of lies this year related to her friendship that turned into an affair. I've mentioned that she and I were in contact post D-Day. I was on the fence about completely splitting or reconciling. She mentioned some guy she was friends with, let's call him Bob, from college had started texting her during the last 2 months and he's interested in her but she isn't. I didn't think anything of it because I know we were split up and I believed her when she said she wasn't interested in him or dating anyone at all. She just wanted me back and can't imagine herself with anyone else. A week ago when I closed the doors for reconciliation, I had asked her earlier that day about moving on and she told me that she has no interest in that and wants to be by herself. I told her it's okay and I hope she meets someone lovely in the future and she's happy. We parted ways in a good enough way and that was that. She reaches out to me today and talks about how sad, lonely and upset she is. How much she misses me. She went out with Bob and 4 of his other friends to a themed park, because he invited her, and she just missed me a lot. This really upset me and made me hurt. Please tell me if I'm being unfair and irrational in my thinking, but is this not exactly what she did in our relationship? Why even mention this guy and assure me you have no interest in him only to accept an invitation days later? In her mind, she thought maybe I'd hear this and think how much she must miss me to be with another guy, but I took this as almost another form of betrayal. Am I being irrational or immature feeling this way? What's the need to tell me X when she feels Y? Why go create a situation that looks so much like what she did in our relationship that led to the demise of it? Update. Hey everyone. I've frequently posted about my situation last year. Discovered my GF was having an affair. Found out on our anniversary when I had plans to propose. I won't go too much into detail, but it was messy and I had to deal with her psychotic AP who was targeting me in many ways. There were many ups and downs. I considered reconciliation, but my ex was too inconsistent. All trust was severed. I went through so many daily mind movies because I saw some stuff that nobody wants to see. I had so many unanswered questions, I felt like I wasted so much of time, effort and money, and to top it all off, the trauma of betrayal affected my emotions daily. However, eventually, I broke free. I made the decision to not reconcile, and for the first month or so after making that decision, I faced resistance from myself. Fears and insecurities would affect me. It was so painful to walk away despite being betrayed like that. But I'm so pleased to say that after more time, lots and lots of work on my end to heal emotionally and face everything, submitting to reality and letting go of the chapter, I feel good. I am a strong believer in the concept that life happens for you, not to you. These days, I feel even more convinced by this because of how happy I feel on some days. It's not perfect. As you all know, you still deal with some thoughts and emotions. But I'm no longer attached to what happened. I don't label myself anymore as a betrayed partner or anything. I've let go of that whole relationship and chapter of my life. So now, I'm just building a new me. I'm just me, a work in progress. And I have to say, it feels so good. I'm the most at peace I've ever been in perhaps a long time. I pray regularly, I exercise daily again, I eat clean, I spend a lot of time with myself focusing on my emotions and thoughts, I read self-help books daily, I cut out a lot of toxic people from my life and strengthen my relationships with those who make me feel good, I work with enthusiasm, I have goals and I do things that I enjoy. This is the most balanced my life has looked in a long time, and I had to suffer greatly since last year to get here. It was not easy, but it was so empowering because I took control of my life. I didn't go rebounding, I didn't partake in vices, I didn't force anything, I didn't run from the trauma, and I stopped labeling myself based on someone else's actions. The road is still long, but if this is any indicator of what's to come, then I'm so excited for the future. At a certain point, you have to stop with the infidelity videos, the constant pain shopping and the ruminating. That was holding me back from accepting the end of a chapter in my life. It may take you half a year like it did for me, or it may take you many years. But you'll get there, either with reconciliation or without. But you have to do what's difficult but good for your soul, your future, your mental health and your happiness. I hope this brings some comfort and hope to you. Stay strong, and I'm sending my well wishes to all of you. Thanks to everyone on here who took the time to help advise me. I knew something's up when my wife said she was on a private island during a business trip and now she's crying because she did it with boss just to get promoted. Me, 32M, and wife, 30F, have been married for 3 years, together for 5 years. We live in Colombo, Sri Lanka at the moment. My wife's boss is 36, married with 2 kids. So the story starts with her cheating on me with her boss when we were having the relationship. I caught her going to a hotel room with her boss. One of my friends worked there, and he took photos of them. I immediately confronted her, and she denied it, saying I'm crazy. Then I showed the photos and she finally admitted to cheating. This happened when we were having the relationship for around 1 year. I immediately broke up with her and blocked her number, social media, etc. But after 2 weeks, she came to see me and was begging to start our relationship. She said it was a mistake, she wasn't thinking straight, and she was stressed with her work, and said everyone deserves a second chance. So I was dumb enough to give her a second chance and started the relationship again. But I set up some rules like checking her phone whenever I want, keeping an eye on her, and asked to stop all chatting and calls with her boss unless it is work related. She agreed and everything went well. We got married in 2019 and everything was so perfect until last year December. Last year December my wife got a promotion at work, and she said she wants to give her boss a dinner treat for that. We argued a lot about this, and she blamed me for my insecurity, and she said that I should trust her because I didn't see any suspicious activity so far after the first time of cheating back in 2018. So she organized the dinner in one of the most luxury hotels here. Mostly people go there for romantic dinners, to propose, etc. And it was a candlelight dinner, and I said I'm not feeling comfortable with that. She again blamed me I'm full of insecurity and promised me nothing will happen. She took a day off from work on that dinner treat day, and went to salon in the afternoon to do her eyebrows and a facial. She usually do this before a wedding or any special party, so at this point I felt something is going on. And she selected a more open and revealing dress, but I didn't too much argued about that because she already blamed several times saying I'm insecure. She went to the dinner, and I asked to get back by 10 p.m. She wasn't home by 10 p.m., so I decided to call her, and she did not answer the phone. I called her several times and she didn't answer the phone. She returned back at 2 a.m. I was so mad and asked why she didn't answer the phone, what took it so long, etc., in a very angry way. She very calmly said, "Don't freak out, we went for a walk after the dinner and just had a friendly talk." I didn't believe it for a second but couldn't do anything about it either. So I just slid it past. This year January my wife said she has to go to Maldives with her boss for a business meeting with a potential client and said she has to stay there for 5 days. I went crazy as soon as I heard this, and we started fighting. She started to blame me again, saying I'm full of insecurity, and I'm crazy that I don't have a proper social life. I've been WFH since the pandemic started. She went the business trip and everything felt okay for the first 3 days. At least I felt okay, not sure about what happened there, but after the day 3, I didn't get any calls from her or couldn't call her. It said that she is out of the coverage area. At this point I lost all faith in my wife and knew something is probably going on. After she returned I asked what happened after day 3, and she said that the client had a private resort on a separate island and he invited them there. And said there's no reception in that island. I asked more details about this resort and island, and she said she doesn't remember anything because the client organized everything and they just got on a boat and went there. Sorry for all the long paragraphs, I just want to give the full context here. My mind is seriously up right now because my gut says something is going on, but I don't have any solid evidence. Any tips/ideas or suggestions are highly appreciated. Edit. Thank you guys all for all the tips and suggestions. So I decided to go for the divorce and I left home for 4 days to spend some time alone in a beach resort I always go. Wrote a letter to her and left it in home asking for divorce and just some stuff about her boss and her. I gave her 4 days to pack her stuff and go find a new place for her. And when I'm back, I'll start by meeting the lawyer. She called me like 10 times now, and I didn't answer at first, but finally decided to talk with her because she kept calling me. I will do a detailed post soon. Thanks a lot again. Update. So the day before yesterday I took 1 week off from work and booked a hotel for 4 days and left home with a letter to her. In the letter I said that I know you are ducking your boss again, and I know everything happened at the dinner and the 5 days business trip, actually I don't, winky face, and some stuff, and that I have decided to go for divorce. Also I gave her 4 days to pack her stuff and go find a new place for her. I switched off my phone when I left the home because I didn't want her to bother me with her endless calls while driving. I went to the hotel, checked in, switched on my phone and bang, 13 missed calls and messages were flooding. I just scrolled the messages, had a look and didn't reply. She called me sometime after, I answered and she was crying, saying sorry for what she did and told me we can still fix this. I'm tired after a long drive and not in the mood to talk, so asked her to call tomorrow and hang up the phone. She asked for the hotel I'm at so she can come and talk to me in person, but I said I don't want to see you. She called me again yesterday, and we talked like for 2 hours. I asked her, do you admit to cheating with your boss, and her answer was I can explain everything. Please let me see you and explain everything. And I asked, did you duck your boss on that dinner date, and again her answer was the same. This went on for several other questions I asked, and I got mad and yelled at her, come on, for once at least be honest and answer my questions. Then she said it all happened last December, she wanted to get the promotion, so she had a deal with her boss. She gets the promotion and her boss gets to her once. And she promised nothing happened from 2018 up to last year December. They both took a day off last December before the dinner date and the whole day. She also said that they decided to end it and not mess up after, but accidentally had sex on the dinner date as well. And the bullcrap business trip was just for 2 days, they have extended it by 3 days to spend time together. And she said that she's ready to sacrifice anything to save our marriage, and will go no contact with her boss and quit her job. She said she doesn't love him or anything, she just wanted to have some fun and that's all. And said that she was planning to have kids this year, and so she won't be able to have fun again like that, so decided to play a little bit before that, etc. And she said that if I'm mad about her Maldives trip with her boss, and to fix everything, let's go to Maldives next week. It's really close to here and just a 2-hour cheap flight. I immediately said no because I know if I go this trip with her I would probably change the decision. She said several times that she is ready to do whatever it takes to save our marriage. So I'm pretty solid with my decision to divorce her, but still a part of my heart loves her. I know you guys get probably mad at me for that, last time called me K-call, not straight, dormant guy etc., but I really ducking loved her hell a lot. It's not easy to wipe out the feelings and love I had for her in all these years. Cheating wife is going bananas cause she was put into jail after what she did to the family for a gift from Candyman. Long-time fan of this sub and finally have a story worth telling. Let me first start out by saying there are no saints in this story, but clearly, I have sided with one. Jack and Jill have been married for 5 or 6 years, and are close to the family. Jill has struggled with a pill obsession, but has had periods of being clean. They now have a sweet 4-year-old daughter. There is a lot of family support, but Jill has been distancing herself from family for the last year. Very much the sign of the meth user, but she is clever, and has mostly everyone doubting reality passes P tests, always has some alibi etc. For the last 6 months, she finally got a job. A real job working on computers supposedly. But Jack and the family have never seen a paycheck. Nor will she give the address of where she works. Jack's truck was broken into, let's say, 4 weeks ago. Jill went to JCPenney's in Jack's truck, shopped, came back to the truck, and the door was broken into and Jack's gun was missing out of the lockbox. She called the cops and filed a report. I heard about this and immediately became suspicious of Jill. But, well, it's too early for me to say anything, because some family might be offended by my allegations. But I still tiptoe around the subject. Jack is also suspicious, but kind of under her spell, and to some degree believes her story. 2 weeks ago, let's say, Jack's truck is broken into again, this time in another public parking lot. This now happens the day after Jack puts $2,000 of new tools in the locked tool chest. Someone broke into the truck, found the key to the tool chest and stole all the tools. Jill calls the police and files a report again. What? Jill has to tell the same story again. What a coincidence. Many rumblings amongst family now. Jill showing only digital pay stubs, always out and dumping daughter off at family's house to take care of, and 2 break-ins within just a couple weeks. Jack works very long stints and isn't home that often. Now suddenly, Jack sees a draft on his bank account for $450 by some other chick's name. Tracks this girl down, calls her up and grills her. Finds out Jill met her somewhere in town and has been asking her for rides. Telling her stories of her misusive, controlling husband who won't leave her any money to buy groceries for her daughter. Mostly true. Jack has got a lock on the money, ensuring family money actually goes for food and utilities. But Jill is convincing Jill's new girlfriend buys it and helps her by cashing a fraudulent check. Jack tells Jill's new girlfriend, who by this time has been contacted by police and is scared crapless, that unless you help me and the cops, I will press charges. Jack now has quite a bit of ammo on Jill and calls her out. You're always in town at your so-called job, you're stealing money, you must be on pills, etc., etc. Jill under the pressure cracks a bit and says yes, she has a boyfriend in town, that's where she's at during the day, but won't cop to any pill use. Passes pill test. Jack finally says you ditch. You watch, in 3 days, you're going to see your boyfriend in the paper. Amongst other things. Jack goes home, picks up daughter, drives out of town to my house and spends a few days. Wife and I entertain niece while Jack is on the phone. Jack's first day here finds real boyfriend's name, not the name Jill gave. Jack finds out boyfriend in on parole. Parole for methamphetamines. Jack also calls Jill's new girlfriend again. Finds out she knows more than she said the day prior. She knows Jill's boyfriend. Jack reminds her, if you don't tell the cops everything you know, I will press charges. Jack then calls parole officer on day 2 and says, "Hey officer, just wanted to say. My truck was broken into 4 weeks ago and my gun was stolen. My wife appears to be on pill and she copped to hanging out with this guy, Jerry, let's say." Parole officer, do you know for sure if it was Jerry that broke into your truck? Jack, I can't be positive, but my truck was broken into again 2 weeks later and more stuff was stolen. Seemed like too much of a coincidence. Also, my wife's new girlfriend also knows boyfriend, and I can have her call you to tell her what she knows. By the way, here is boyfriend's new address. Jill's new girlfriend, still scared crapless, calls parole officer to help any way she can get out of charges herself. Says, "Yes, I know Jerry, and lately he's been carrying around a new pistol." Parole officer now has corroborated accounts of a parolee in possession of a firearm, something a parolee by law cannot have. Parole officer calls Jack on day 3 and says, "Well Jack, I went to the address. Your wife answered, then slammed the door. We had to kick the door open. A boyfriend was found inside with pills on his person. Both your boyfriend and your wife are now in custody. Your wife has been charged with obstruction and we found this tool." Jack, was it a make, model, with synthetic stocks, and a stainless steel frame with serial number? Parole officer, yes, for all the above except that the serial numbers have been scratched off. WTF. Our heads were spinning. Jill and her boyfriend are sitting in jail. Boyfriend is a parolee with multiple new felony charges, to name a few: illegal substances, stolen tool, and defacing it. Jill has since been released, but boyfriend, well, he's going to be there for a while. Jack's last words to us were, "I told her give me 3 days, and you'd see his name in the paper." I'll end it with, I adore both Jack and Jill and hope they can work this out for their future and for their daughters. They're still young and, like some of us, late bloomers.